What's up, Rube? It's Little Big Robot's back. As you can tell, I'm here with you now to look at another little robot. This time I'm looking at this interesting thing I found on Amazon. If you know me, oh, my table is wobbly. If you know me, you know that I love, unusual bots, stuff like that. Why is my table wobbling? Let's get a little anti-wobble going on there. And these came across my feed. You know, when you're searching for Amazon for like toys or whatever, you'll end up getting like just real kind of spammy stuff or whatever. You know what happens. And it's always made in China, which again, there's some reasons that's good and some that's bad. I've talked about in the past wanting to get away from buying stuff made in China, not because it's like a moral obligation necessarily, but because of issues with supply chain, stuff like that. So I do have a lot of toys that I buy that aren't made in China. But I mean, the fact to talk about it for a minute, the fact that most things we buy are made in China these days, and that we use sites like Amazon, Google, they all have issues. But I don't have any sort of issue with the people of China. There are people who live there by no fault of their own, and they're working hard. There's people who have issues with what, some of the issues we have here in America, and I understand that. So, for me, I think that there's something so miraculous in some ways at what China does. I don't understand how they do it. This is a good example of it. Of course, it helps if maybe you don't have licensing fees or you're able to not worry about copyright fees or whatever. But also just the fact that you can buy this huge bot. Here's a 1/144 scale aerial. Here's your standard droid. Here's a 1/12, Marvel Legends character, Hawkeye's sister, daughter, something like that. Anyway, and it's this huge, just a fun giant robot, and this was $21. They have, I'm trying to get my camera situated here, sorry about that. As you can see on the back, they have like 6 or 7 different ones. And what's wacky is when I got it, I thought, oh, it's going to be pretty cheap feeling. It does have a thin plastic kind of feel to it, but each joint has a ratcheting to it. It's pretty darn posable for what it is. Let me get this situated. There we go. And it transforms into like, I swear I was getting the elephant just now that I'm thinking about it. But it looks like I got this tiger type thing. But what's really interesting about that is not only does it have pretty good quality for the price, and it has ratcheting in almost every joint, which means that when you put it in a pose, it's pretty much going to hold that pose, right? Do the old trick, can it stand on one foot? Let's see. I do want to be a little careful because it doesn't feel super rock solid as far as the joints. It's possible that you could break one, so just be aware. I don't think it'll stand on one foot because it's just not quite leaned over. But anyway, you can do it in some pretty interesting poses. Nothing, too dramatic. But I have a real soft place in my heart for these kind of, I'm not calling them a knockoff toy or anything like that, but these kind of like, I'm not sure where this IP came from type of line, because when I was a kid, a lot of times you go to a flea market or something, that's all I could afford. That's why I have a really kind of unusual taste in bots, and I do just specifically what I want, is because like I wasn't into Transformers necessarily, I was into knockoff Transformers. But anyway, you get some really good details in here. And what I want to show too is that if you were to buy this for $21 and you wanted to customize it, what's great about this is you get screws assembling almost everything. So that means you can easily take it apart. So when I first got it, I thought, oh, well, you see the seam line here? Sorry, I'm trying to get the focus. See the seam line? That's poorly made. It's going to come apart, and I'm going to have to glue it back together and stuff. I got to be real careful. But it's screwed together in most places. screw here. But what's cool about that is if you wanted to wash this or paint it or anything like that, you can screw it apart, and then when it's back together, it has the nice latchy, you know, this clickety clackety thing to hold its pose, and it's pretty solid on the shelf. So I'm on one hand, I don't necessarily like buying a toy that might or might not be copyright vague. Let's just say. I'm not saying this is I don't know, but on the other hand, I'm fascinated by the ability of a nation to turn out something like this for $21 shipped all the way to the United States, shipped to my house for free. The profit margin on it has to be tiny, you know, and then you get a pretty solid little bot. Well, not little, a pretty solid big bot. Get this situated here. That you could paint, you could have fun. Just put it on your shelf. You get it for a nephew or niece. And there's like 7 of them, so you could collect all 7 for like a little over $100. It's kind of crazy. It's really kind of crazy what they're able to achieve. I wanted to point out, like the skirts here, what's interesting, they have a lot of this type of joint, just a simple ball joint. So that's funny because a lot of people would be like, oh, that's kind of cheap, but you're really using oops, turn my light down, using a similar joints in like these high quality, you know, $20 gunpla kits. And that's good because if they loosen up too, those ball joint types, you can throw a little rubber cement in there and tighten it back up. These clackety pieces I haven't gotten in there and looked yet, but I have a feeling they're not real complicated. So it's not a crazy, it's not a, it's a combination of tasteful ideas for putting together a cheap bot, but also stuff that just really works. I was going to transform it. I was going to do it on camera, but you know, it's going to take a while because, you know, there's instructions and stuff. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably stop it, transform it, come back. If you're interested in seeing the actual transformation of it, maybe I'll do a video of that. But it just came in the box, just wrapped in some bubble wrap. There's no vacuum form stuff. But I have to be honest with you, I hate that vacuum form stuff anyway. It's just tons of excess plastic. And you can see here, deformation steps. So they printed one sheet for all 7 different critters. They're all pretty basic. You can see that they go into like a four-legged mode kind of thing. You know, it's not real complicated. The bot basically gets on its hands and knees. So I was going to transform it real quick. But before I do that, I thought it'd just be interesting to see some of the little, because of the transformation stuff, you also get these interesting little design aspects. The head comes forward, this comes down. So, you know, you could probably figure it out yourself, the transformation, which I was going to try to do. I think that goes in there somehow. That goes back. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But you've got these besides these cool skirts here, you got this cool back skirt area. And it has this really interesting part, you know, and that alone is in other words, if you were to use this for, let's say, customizing it or turning it into something else, you could probably use that as a basis for a tail. You know, it goes under. It's just got a lot of really interesting parts in it. You could take the head of the beast off and just leave it, you know, take that off of the front of the bot. And maybe add some stuff on the bot to beef it up and just use it as a bot instead. You could take these things off here, probably these. I imagine this is how see the feet come down like that. You know, just you can see the transformation already happen. I just love that. But like I said, if you wanted to, you could probably remove. I bet you that you can see that it's not held on by like a pin. I bet that just literally pops off of there. So you could take all these extra little claws and the face and all that off of here, and then you would just wind up with a pretty neat looking you know, bot that would take up some, you know, good amount of room on your shelf. And you know, you could use them as a basis for a diorama or something like that. I'm just fascinated. It's just absolutely fascinated by this. It's for $21, $20 to my house, and I imagine that you could probably find them on sale. So I even thought, and if you all are interested in it, let me know. But I even thought that it'd be kind of cool. See, look at that little, just a basic little ball joint, you know. I even thought it'd be interesting to maybe try and find, how did I get that in there? Try and find the best kind of cheap, you know, Chinese robot toys, buy a few in a month and review them. If you see any on there, let me know. Because there's some really interesting designs they're doing with like, ball-shaped bots that turn into bots and stuff. They're just some, I mean, look at this. This part here is really, really nice. Got a nice paint job on it and stuff. You know, the silver, you could put a little brush on there. It's just a really, really, I'm just kind of blown away by this kind of thing, what they're able to do for so little money. They have to be making a few dollars a piece on it, probably. Maybe more, I don't know. Anyway, let me get transformed. I'll come back and we'll take a look at that. Okay, I'm back. So let me put these little as a sign here. It's not much of a transformation. I mean, let's be honest. This is just a fun little. You can see what I believe this is correct. I didn't get it exact. I also didn't point out it comes with the gun here. You take the armor pieces off the front, off the shoulders. You put these on the back. Has a nice, satisfying, snapping feeling, and then that inserts there somewhere, something like that. I don't know exactly where this goes. I need to figure it out. I left the instructions in there, and now I'm being too lazy. So let's take that off for now. Obviously, this is not about necessarily the transformation. The transformation is a very ooh, look, there's my mic. Is a very minor, you know, the minor appeal. The appeal of these is that they're, you know, $20, and they do some really, really wonderful stuff with what they have. So let's see here if I can show you how it goes back together. It goes together just like you'd expect. That should go that way. That should go this way. I thought this was kind of cool, this part here. Let me pull out the camera a bit. Not quite that far, Bo. Pull out the camera a bit like this. The chest thing here I thought was just a lot of fun. You just basically pop it down in there. I'd love to take that face off, that head, and let me grab some tweezers, be a little easier. Let's trap these. I'd love to take the head off and give it a good wash, greasing it up. This whole thing, if it had some little weathering, it'd actually be a really cool little. So you have a little head just literally comes up like this. That closes back, and that's cool. There's an emptiness in there. That means you know you put LEDs in there or something if you needed to. That kind of pushes back flat. I think these just go up. You know, it's not an amazing transformation, but again, it's not about that. The fists are actually really. I really like the molds on the fists there. You can spin these around. Let's see, something like this. Shoot, how do they go? Like this. How did they go? Let me pause it. Okay, got it pretty much. The little tail was literally a tail. I don't know if you saw that or not. It's not real obvious. But again, you could probably use it in some other way. I forgot that goes down. Anyway, so I didn't transform it very well. But anyway, that's good enough for now. So that's the $21 Celestial Warrior. I think this is a tiger or something. I can't remember which one this is. Like I said, if you wanted to, what's great about something like this is you could easily take off these extra bits, the face, whatever, stuff on the back, and just make a cool looking bot just for your shelf. It's crazy. It's crazy. Again, I don't know how they do it. There's probably some pretty obvious secret to how they able to create this stuff so cheaply. They've got a lot of the machines already hooked up. You know, that supposedly they have a lot of tooling machines, stuff like that, already ready to go over there. So you're able to just mass produce stuff easily. The machine's already, you know, primed and ready. I believe that's why a lot of people ship their stuff over there. Either way, it results in a fun, like if you have a kid and they just want a big old giant robot, grab one of these. Heck, I'll put a link to them in the description. Pretty cool though, huh? Not bad at all. Have a good day, everybody. I hope you enjoyed, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you. Bye.